because your home is the right one for them and they need to know it and you need to show them.
Imagine a world where you sold your home for top dollar despite the market, where you sleep great because you knew you did everything within your power to get as much money as possible. Here's the honest truth. We are in a shifty market. We're in a market that's slower than it was 1, 2, 3 years ago. It's not the same. You can't just throw a house up on market and get more than you're asking for and do nothing for repairs. That's not how it works anymore. You have to plan. You have to be ready. You have to choose your real estate broker carefully. You have to inspect your own home. You have to prepare it for sale and stage it. You need to do these many steps in order to get top dollar. And you can't skip them and you can't do them half-heartedly. You need to do them correctly. And there's a lot of misconception out there about what they are and how you go about it. This is a detailed, in-depth video explaining everything that I do with my clients, everything that comes into play, everything that you need to do to sell your home for top dollar, to get the terms that you need. Those things are important. And if we don't do them, if we don't know what they are, you can't execute, you can't win. And you need to win in this market because you have competition now. You have to sell. You want someone to pick your home over your neighbor's home. It's not, well, if that buyer doesn't pick my home, I've got 100 else lined up behind it. That's not today. We need to be strategic and we need to have a plan and we need to get you top dollar. Because you've got plans for that money, I know you do. You've got plans to go buy another home. You've got plans to invest in your kids' education. You've got plans to move across state. You've got plans to leave an inheritance for your children. You have plans and you need those resources so you can allocate those resources to what's important for you and your family. We got to take care of your people. If you're wondering how to achieve all these goals, how to get top dollar, how to sell for more, how to sell in a shifty market, then this video is for you. I lay it all out. You can take it to your real estate broker. You can use it wherever you are. I'm really just sharing what has worked for my clients. Over and over again, this has worked for my clients. I've seen it. And I've even had many other real estate brokers are like, wow, that was so easy and great. And I wish all my transactions were like this. And I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. You should try it. So take from what you can. Hope it's helpful. Enjoy it. Sit back, grab yourself a drink, and let's do this.
Okay, great. So we've got our board erased here and we're going to dive into the readiness factor. So with readiness, we have two main categories, which everything comes under. One is the you personally, right? This is you. I'm going to give you some long hair right now. Okay, boy or girl, your choice, or they, however you identify. It's good. Right, this is the you, this is the personal. And then there's the money. It's really that simple. It's the money factors, okay? Now, the reason this step is important, again, I want to emphasize, is that when you're selling your home, when you're going through this process, usually you're juggling this with quite a few other things. Maybe you've inherited a property and you need to move quickly so that you can keep as much money as possible. Maybe you're going to buy another property and you maybe you already know the home you want to buy and you're really feeling like, man, I got to get going, right? So all of these factors, all of these goals that you have impact what we go through the stage. And the first main one really that's kind of emphasizing in this one, in addition to yourself, is the timeline. Timeline. Okay, so the timeline of what you have to sell. Do you want to sell and need to sell in 3 weeks? Or is it 3 months? Or is it 3 years? Because what we decide to repair, what's the right fit for you is going to be seriously impacted. If you've got 3 months, we've got a lot of time to schedule out the best contractors for the best price, et cetera, to get ready. Right, we have more time to work with. If you need to be on market and entertaining a buyer in 3 weeks, which is honestly very doable, a lot of people do operate right here, that's okay. We can do that, right? That's very doable. But it is very informative of like, oh man, we got some stuff to get done. We gotta get going, okay? And if you're on a three-year time frame, then you might entertain bigger projects to improve the value of your home so that you can sell for top dollar by maybe renovating a bathroom or doing more extensive landscaping projects, whatever that is. But we're not going to do, let's say, a big kitchen renovation when you need to sell in 3 weeks to 3 months, right? That's saved for the longer time frame when you would choose to update that, and you could enjoy the updates yourself. So this timeline piece is here. So this first piece in the examples I've been giving, this is your motivator. What is your motivator for selling? What's driving you, right? Maybe you got married. It's usually life events. Divorce is also a common one. Sometimes divorced and then married, right? But sometimes they go together, then married again. Maybe you had an extra kid or a new job. Or you're just ready to upgrade, right? You've been in a home that's smaller, whatever, and you're just like, I am ready for bigger and better. I am ready for nicer. I'm ready for more convenient, right? There's a ton of reasons why people choose to sell a home. But this is really, this actually is really helpful to know. Most people don't have to look far to know what this is. If you're watching this video, you probably can already say immediately your reason for looking at this and like watching this video is because you have a motivator right now. And the reason this is important is because it does in turn flip back up and affect your timeline. So if you have a new job you got to get to and it's really not a work long distance, like they'll work with you but they don't want it, and you need to be there in 3 months, now you got to get moving, right? You got to move faster. Or maybe you have a baby coming, right, on the way, and you're like, I can't do my 3-bedroom anymore. I need 4 or 5 bedrooms. We've been working from home anyways, right? I am ready for a bigger home, and I want to get in there and do up the baby room like before I have the baby, not after. Then we know that timeline as well is kind of a ticking clock that we have. So this is helpful connection that's going to play into your strategy and how we apply the sell rich method so that you can get top dollar for your home. Okay? And the next piece is your next step. And this is plain off the back of the motivator. Are you buying as well? Are you also a buyer? Are you buying another home locally? Maybe you inherited and you're only selling. So you got to get ready for that. Maybe your plan is to rent for a while because you're building new construction. So you're going to sell this home, take out the money, live with family or rent a place so you can put that money forward to your new construction build. I've seen all of these reasons and many more as to why people choose to sell and how they go about it, and this affects our plan. So this is a great case example. I had a client. They had been in their home for 4 years. They were buying new construction on the other side of the state, and their new construction was going to get done. In this scenario, it was going to be, and we were talking in May. So they were already under contract on their next home, but they needed to sell. They couldn't juggle 2 mortgages, so they needed to sell one and then get to the other place. And they wanted to be at their new place before the school year as well. So they were going to rent in the middle while their house was getting done, but they didn't want to start their kids off, at one set of schools here in Salem, and then, starting fresh when their home was done back in October. They wanted to get them off on the right foot. So they needed to sell in the summer, they can move and rent, and then they were going to complete their purchase on the other end. So that's an example of timelines and goals. And they also, right, another like trick factor in here, this made us a little harder for this one. We pulled it off, which I was so excited for them. But another tough piece in there is that they needed to rent back because they wanted to have their home sold and have the peace of mind, but then they wanted to stay here all summer. They didn't want to move at the end of June or middle of July. They wanted to stay local here in Salem all summer and then move, right? They had friends they wanted to be with, things they wanted to do, their old jobs they were wrapping up. So they needed to rent back, and that was a strategic part of their home sale, which the truth is it just isn't for everybody. So this was an important part. But I need to know this as a real estate broker. Your real estate broker needs to know this, and this plays into your effect because you want a buyer that's going to work with us. We need to be upfront and let people know, but we have to know ourselves and ask all of those important questions. Okay, dollar figure piece. One of this is, can you afford to go where you want? What can you afford to buy, right? Are we going to, if you're buying, right? If you're on the buy route, right? Even if you're doing a rent back and then a buy, right? If you're on the buy route, can you afford the next place, right? If you're selling 600,000 and you're imagining $1 million, are you going to pull enough equity out of that home? Equity out of that home to reach your goals, qualify for the mortgage, all that good stuff. Okay, and these are just good kind of like questions to ask, because if you're doing that route, we're doing the two in tandem, the selling and the buying in tandem, and you want to know what you can afford and feel good about. And sometimes people are experiencing a huge bump where they're buying, $400,000 or $500,000 more than they sold for, and some are bumping $200,000 to $300,000 more than what they sold for, but maybe like $500,000 more than they bought for, right? Because they've built that equity in the middle. So this is good to know this. We need to kind of plan for you. The other piece is if it's an inherited property. I'm not a CPA, right? I got to put that out there. I'm not a CPA, but if you have an inherited property and you're selling, you want to sell sooner rather than later to save on taxes. Like if you hold the property for a couple years and it goes up in value, now you're getting exposed from a tax perspective, whereas you will not experience that exposure if you sell sooner. So this plays in here, right, to your timeline and what you choose to do, and it affects, your other motivators and next step, okay? The other piece is if this is a primary residence, then you want to have been there for 2 years, right, as your primary residence to avoid capital gains taxes. Again, I'm not a CPA, but what I know is that on the federal level,
at this point, I start going into 1031 exchanges and all the details of that scenario, which really isn't relevant for the standard homeowner. So what I'm going to cover here real quick and sum up for you is simply that you do not have to be past the 2 years ownership to sell a home. You have a right to sell a home whenever you want. However, if you aren't past the 2-year mark and we're like getting close, maybe you're like at 18 months, then we want to make sure you're closing past that 2-year mark if at all possible, because it's going to save you the equivalent of 25% in taxes, 15% on the federal side, and then since you're selling in Oregon, also 10% on the Oregon state side. And something that is different here in Oregon than in other states is that if you do qualify for that federal tax exemption, you're also not going to pay it in Oregon. So it's not that you would be paying 10% no matter what on the Oregon side. It's the difference between paying 0% taxes and 25% taxes, which is a heavy hit. So let's get you to the next step, but that's the last big one that you need for home readiness, to know your timeline and agenda so we can achieve your goals. And then just the money factors that come into play so that we can strategize your next step that fits you best. This step is important. We want to do it right. We want to do it once, not thrice, so we can move on and get you to your next place. Okay, time for step 3.
All right, number 2. This is, if you remember from our earlier review, this is the inspect and repair. This, my friend, every step's important, okay? Every step builds on the other. This is so foundational and important. This is where you can really save the big bucks. That's really going to save you the 10, 20, 30,000 plus on your home. It's going to make you more money. Friends, the average way, the normal way that we see here in Oregon, right? Like on average, what we see is you list your home, right? You list, and then maybe you do a little bit of sparkle. You have your buyer inspects, then they ask for repairs, and you settle on that, and then you're done. And this is really heartache part for sellers, and this is where they lose the most money. because they didn't do the work beforehand. They didn't go on market. They didn't do their job inspecting this number 2 step, they inspecting and repairing, and they find out they have a roof they need to replace. And now they got to pay in a rush to close that roof, you know, to get the roof done. So they got to pay premium price. So they end up spending way more money. They end up learning about things they never even knew about their home. You know, maybe they completely missed it even when they bought it. And this is where they lose money, is because a buyer comes in and they fall in love with your home and they see the pretty pictures and everything else, but then they get that inspection, and these inspections are 60 pages, right? They are on average 60 pages. I've seen some 90. They're long inspections, lots of photos, very detailed, and this scares people. And they learn about all these things that are broken on your home that they didn't notice when they were walking through happy and connecting and bonding with your home. So what happens is with this, there's a disconnect that happens. Okay, this creates a break. It creates a break. It creates a disconnect. And it breaks trust, right? So trust is lost, okay? And when you lose trust with a buyer, you lose money. They don't want to buy your home anymore. Maybe they just walk away, and now you've been off market and you come back on, and people go, well, why did the other one fall apart? Why did the other person walk away? What was wrong with it? What are you hiding, seller? Right? You lose trust. They get a big, long document, and they just spent $500-$600 plus inspecting your home to learn all the uglies about it. And they didn't get to know that earlier because you didn't do it. And so now they hear that, and now they've broken trust, and they ask for this long list of repairs, right? Long list. And it's a huge list, and it's expensive, and you need to get it done in a rush, and it's just costs you a lot. And this is where people really lose out, and it's really a bummer that it happens, but it's true. I've seen it happen time and time again. I've been on the side where it happened to buyers. I've been on the side where it happened to my sellers. And I was out of this. It was in seeing the pain that my sellers went through and the tens of thousands of dollars they lost because they weren't proactive and they didn't do the inspect and repair first. And I just kept thinking, gosh, there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way because this is causing so much heartache for my clients, and it's costing them so much money. And my job is to get my clients as much money as possible, and to save you heartache, right? As much heartache as I can, right? I want you to have a positive home selling experience. I want it to be the dream, not the nightmare. So, which is like a long repair list like this can feel like a nightmare. It feels really daunting because you're trying to move, you're trying to pack up. You don't have time for this, right? You do not have time for this. Yep, but all the other stuff has to wait because you have to make time for this, because if you don't sell your home, if you don't get to the done, to the close, to the dollar bills, then it's all for naught. We got to start all over again. So this really pushes up as primary and present when you don't skip number 2, and it's expensive, and it's time consuming, and it's stressful. Great, you're ready for step 3, and this step is the sparkle, right? This is the shine. This is the extra. This is the getting the photo ready and really the wow, right? This is the final like wow piece that we're going for before we capture it with media. So in the sparkle, there are 3 Ds. The first is deep, clean. Right? Before you put on any shine, you have got to clean that place, right? This is a true deep clean. You are busting out your mop. You are covering light switches. You are covering baseboards. You are mopping the floor, wiping that shelf, cleaning the top of the fridge, cleaning your fridge, because surprisingly, people will open your fridge when they view your home. You think you're selling your home, and then here they are opening up your fridge. A lot of homes come with the fridge, right, as a part of the sale. So they are inspecting your fridge. Am I buying a broken fridge, or am I buying a fridge that's been cleaned, it's taken care of, and it's ready to go? They are looking at every little bit of that home. And this is one of the things that I've seen really hurt sellers in the past when they skip this step. And I see it the most, right, vividly when I've been working with buyers. We'll go in and we'll see a home, and the photos look great. But then we get there and you're like, oh, there's like dust on the windowsill, and I'm walking across the carpet and I'm watching it like poof, right? The dust poof in the air. And there's shoes cluttered by the front door, and it smells like dog. And right, it's just all of these sights and scents and smells that you're just like, ugh, right? You don't want. And consequently, what I hear buyers say out loud is things like, oh, they didn't really put much effort into selling. Like, wow, they just weren't ready. They weren't ready to have their home seen. Like, the photos look so great, but now I feel kind of tricked, right? This is that trust breaking where you're losing money because you're breaking trust. And the other things I hear them say all the time is like, well, if they don't even clean their place, what else is wrong with it? Right? If this is the on the surface, easy to see, what else is wrong with it? Kind of like if you were at a park and you see someone yelling at their kid or yelling at their dog and they're really aggressive. Like, I don't know about you, but one of the thought goes on in my head is, if they're this aggressive in public, what are they like in private? And that's basically the same thing that's being applied by buyers. If they're like, look, if this is your big moment where you have a chance to shine and wow me and you didn't even clean, not wowed, right? And that's what happens is they become not wowed very quickly. So first step in the sparkle is a deep clean. The next step is a declutter. And I want to use a little bird analogy in the declutter phase, because when you first move in the home, right, you have a new home, you're getting settled in, it's your space, you are what we call nesting. Okay? You are nesting. This is what birds do, right? Beep, there's my little bird. Okay, you are nesting. And when you're nesting, you're bringing stuff into your home, right? When you're buying and you're moving in, you're making it yours, you're bringing stuff in. But when you're selling, you are de-nesting. You're moving stuff out. Okay, so here you are, your little bird. So when you're nesting, things are coming in. But when you're de-nesting, things are going out. We're taking out all of those beautiful family photos you have because we want someone to envision themselves in your space. Themselves in your space, not your space, no matter how beautiful the photos are. And I hear clients, I've shown homes and people have commented, they're like, wow, what a beautiful family. But they're kind of like distracted by that because they're trying to picture themselves in the home. And you can see there's kind of this moment of like, will I be beautiful like that in this home? I don't know. There's a hesitation there. So we're taking out photos. We're taking things off the shelves. You want really bare shelves. You have this like nice long shelf and you might have 1 or 2 items on it and nothing more, right? You're making sure your plants are pinned up and not too crazy. You're taking down the tchotchkes. You're taking down the extras. You're removing unneeded furniture. You're really getting ready. And as soon as you feel like your place is bare and there's nothing else you could possibly take out, then we're probably getting close. I'll be honest. That's probably what it feels like for people. They're like, our home has nothing in it. But if you look at those professional photos, if you watch like HGTV or any of those other home renovations movies, when they're taking that big like there is nothing in that home. There's maybe 1 or 2 throw pillows. Maybe there's a rug. Like, there is so little, and it's because you want to show what the space can do, not cram so much into it that you're not getting the good benefit. Your next D is to delight. Okay, we want to delight the home buyer. You want them to fall in love with your home. Okay, this is the staging. It's the candles. It's the fresh flowers. It's, the list goes on and on what you can do to stage. It's bringing in a professional stager and getting the angles just right and the cushions color coordinated. It's deciding, this is a nice little table, but it really would look better here. This feels empty and that makes it feel crowded. This is the final stages where you are looking to surprise and delight the home buyer because they need to fall in love with your home. A lot of this is geared towards this sell rich home method. It's keeping in mind the buyer's journey. Okay, buyers have to buy within their constraints with the cash they have or the mortgage they can qualify for. But the reality is they pick the home they love. This is an emotional experience, and to do that, you need to delight them. Okay, you're removing hurdles and you're helping them fall in love with your home because your home is the right one for them, and they need to know it, and you need to show them. They're not going to just know. You have to show them that. So we're going to delight them. It's an emotional journey. People buy with their feelings. There's financial constraints, but they buy with their feelings. So this delight here is a really important step as well. All of this is important. It's hard to delight if it feels cluttered or dirty, right? But there's that little extra that really brings that sparkle. The sparkle from cleaning, the sparkle from the fact that you can see the space, and the sparkle of this, just those touches that just make it feel great. Right? And this is what's going to set us up for success so that we can get you top dollar for your home. Okay, great. Let's go to the next. Number 4 is to capture. Okay. Now in the 4 stage, a lot of this is me. A lot of this is my responsibility because I, as your real estate broker or your real estate broker who you're hiring, they should be paying for the photos. They should be paying for professional photos. Do not settle for photos off a camera. Oh my gosh. No. They need professional photography, right? So you're getting photos. We're going to do a slideshow. We might have a property layout. This is so you can see like the footprint of the home, things like that, right? So you know where all the rooms are. Then you're going to have things like video, right? So there is just a whole series of things we can do to capture it well. And when we're capturing it well, like this is really dependent on the steps prior. Because if your home is dirty, those really high-end cameras, you might actually see it. I've seen it in some photos where you can see the dirtiness. Certainly they'll capture the clutter. You know, these professional photos, they tend to be 5 photos of the same photo, but they capture different light. It's like they capture the window light and then the ambient light and then the light from the lamps, and I don't even know what else they do. I've had it explained to me before, but it is extensive. I just hire the professional photographer because they get the best photos, and they layer and they compress these photos on top of one another. That's what gets you those really bright, vibrant photos where you feel like you're there and the lights are on full because they are, because there are 5 photos in one. So this is what gets you the really good stuff, right? And we combine all of these things to really sell your home because your home most likely, right? The chances are so high that your home is seen first online than anywhere else. People just walk into a home cold, even with open houses. Like you have open house signs up, or doing an open house for your place over the weekend. And I will see buyers standing outside or in their car looking up your home and going through all the photos before they walk in. It's wild. Maybe they didn't even see that open house was advertised, but they saw the open house signs and the balloons. So they drove over, they parked, they looked up your home and to decide whether they were even going to walk in, even though they were right there. It's wild. It's the world we live in nowadays. We trust, it's a system that we trust. We're verifying so many things before we do anything nowadays. So, but the capturing all of this, you can spend all the money in the world on great photography, videos, etc. But it doesn't do any good if your home's cluttered, it's unclean, and it doesn't have that sparkle. You have to have a sparkle to capture in the first place and be ready to go. Now, the few responsibilities you do have in this that are yours is to know when garbage day is. Okay, garbage day. Because you don't want to schedule your photos on the days that you're all, the whole neighborhood has their bins out on the street or the garbage truck might be coming by. We want it to be garbage bin free, so you need to know your garbage day. You're going to need to move your cars because we don't want your cars in the photo. Some of these nicer newer homes, we do take photos inside the garage, especially if it's like a double height and there's extra storage and you can really fit vehicles plus storage in the garage. We do take interior photos if that's the case and we don't want your cars inside. If it's an older home and the garage is cramped, we don't bother with the inside photos of the garage because it actually is usually a negative on the listing side, right? It actually negatively impacts your home price. But you also don't want your neighbors' cars in the street. So if you've got someone in your neighborhood that tends to park either really close to your home or in front of your home, you want to be talking to them in advance and letting them know, hey, we're getting ready to sell our home. We're taking professional photos. We put in a lot of effort. Really appreciate it if you'd park down the street or the next block over, on this, X date, right? So that your car doesn't end up in the photo. And especially if it's a rougher car and we're doing drone shots, we don't want that. We just don't want that in the photo because people look at that and that it influences what they decide to do. Okay, so this is your responsibility, is to know when garbage day is, and to be responsible for your cars and be talking to your neighbors about their cars if they happen to park their vehicles in front or very close to your home. All right. This gets done in a day usually, and then it takes a day or two to process all of this documentation, and then we're ready to get it up and push it on market. Okay, this is, by the market, we mean we are telling the world online that your home is available for purchase. It is up for sale, and what lucky dogs they are to have it up for sale and they need to come and grab it. Okay, so when we're going market, when we're going live online, those photos and videos, they're getting pushed everywhere on the internet. We send them to Zillow and to Redfin and to Realtor.com. They're seen all over the world, right? Anyone looking to relocate from another country even, right? Like if they're looking to relocate to your area, they're seeing your home, okay? And so we want those photos and everything ready, but this is where it's going on market. It's going live. We're putting that media out there. So there's the media piece. And a part of this key thing that I don't hear other realtors talk about, usually what I hear is just this. People say, how are you going to let people know? How are you going to sell their home? And I think it's a really great question. You should ask it because you want clear-eyed expectations of what your realtor thinks is best for your home. But in addition, you want to package your home, okay? We've gotten it ready, but this is a huge sales process. We're going to package it, okay? We're going to package it up pretty, right? You buy a present for someone for Christmas, you don't just give it to them in the Amazon box. You at least wrap the Amazon box and perhaps put a bow on it, okay? Because you want it appreciated and you want it to look fancy. And people pay more money for fancy. People will value your Christmas gift or your birthday gift better if it's wrapped and it's clear that you've put in some effort. So when we go market live with your home, we have this media piece and the home's ready. So we've done this huge bit. We've done the sparkle. I or your real estate broker has spent big bucks to have the right professional photography, video, etc., drone, whatever it is, right? Package put together to sell your home. But then there's the other piece of the packaging, which is your home condition. And this is your disclosures. We're going to do DISC for short, disclosures and reports. So your reports, those inspection reports that you've paid for, the general inspection, the radon, the HVAC, the sewer scope, all of that, and then any repairs that you did after you got that, that's going to go into your disclosure report. And this is going to get attached online for people to look at. Now, this isn't available to just anyone looking on Zillow, but when people call their real estate broker and their real estate broker looks it up, their real estate broker can see that there's attached documents in the file. And we can say in the description that the inspection reports are attached. Home's been inspected and repaired, it's spruced and ready, right? Sparkle, we got our sparkle on, and you can verify that. And people love this. People love this. There's only been a few times where I've been on the buyer side and someone's had an inspection. And I think with the exception of once, it has been because another buyer was buying the home, bailed because the seller wouldn't do certain repairs or whatever it was, and then the seller asked for the inspection report, and in Oregon, you're legally obligated to give them that report. So they ask for the inspection report, and so then they have it because the buyers did it, and then maybe they did some repairs, maybe they didn't, but that's the only reason they have it. And it's a reactive way to have a report opposed to a proactive way. And you are smart and you're proactive. I mean, you're watching this video, for goodness sakes, so that you can sell your home for more money, so you can sell it for top dollar. So you're prepared and ready to go. So this is part of the packaging because this gives people peace of mind, right? They're happy, right? They're happy, and you also build trust. Happiness plus trust. And when you build trust, you make money, my friend. You build trust, you make money. Okay. The other thing that this is also doing is you're selling convenience, especially with the deep clean. You got your sparkle on, the declutter, and you've done all of this already. You spend more money for convenience. I know I've been over this earlier before, but it's worth stating again. If you will pay more money, like DoorDash or Uber Eats, you could do it the old school way, like we used to do, have the paper menus already at your home, decide what you're going to order, get on the phone, wait to be heard, be put on hold, talk to them, hope that they got all your order right. You're listening closely to see if they remember to like take off the shrimp or do your steak rare or whatever, whatever it is that you ordered, right? And then you're going to like pick it up in 30 minutes or 25 minutes and hope it's not cold and bring it home. But DoorDash and Uber Eats say, get on the app on your phone. You can verify your order right there, pick everything that you need, just pay us a little extra. Not only will we submit the order for you, so you don't have to sit on hold and hope that the order got heard correctly. Instead, easy peasy, we'll pick it up and we'll deliver it to your door. And you pay extra for that, my friend. You pay for convenience. And this is even, think of that scenario of the extra money that you've paid on DoorDash, so say in a month, that you like take that and amplify it, 1,000-fold for homes. Because when you solve a much bigger problem than, could you please pick up my takeout? You solve a problem like a sewer scope, scratched cabinets, a roof, damaged carpet, right? Whatever it is, you solve these much bigger, more expensive problems, you get a bigger payout that's going to be better for you. And you're going to get paid more money. You're going to get top dollar for your home. Okay. So this is part of the packaging that we've been preparing along the way, right? We've got our sparkle, we've got our repairs. And then the last piece of packaging, usually there's a couple other things. Maybe in our inspect and repair stage, we decided to wait on something. So for example, I had a client who had older carpet in their home and they wanted to know if they should replace it. Now the home was pretty big. It was a lot of carpet, and there were other parts of their home that were in line with the carpet, right? The cabinets were like the kitchen and the bathrooms were dated, and the carpet was dated. But there was this question of like, but they're like, should we replace it? I was like, how about we have it spot shampooed or full shampooed, get it clean. But then if we're seeing the carpet is an issue, or we might even just do it right out the gate, we say you get an allowance. You get a carpet allowance as a part of the advertising. And you might say $4,000 towards carpet allowance. Okay, $4K. And you're just planning on that, right? It was going to cost you that. It would probably cost you that and more. People have very strong opinions about carpet. Some people don't want carpet at all. Other people have a very clear idea about what they want from their carpet. So you don't really want to spend $5-6K plus to replace carpet that people are just going to tear out and replace again anyways. They're not going to want to spend more for it because you didn't take you know what I mean? Like it wasn't the right fit for them. So you're better off with something like that. Like in this home, it was a better solution for them to give an allowance as a part of the packaging. Like, we know the carpet's old. We've had it cleaned and repaired, so you can keep it. But if it's a really an issue, you've got an allowance for it. And this usually looks like a credit on closing costs, that sort of thing. So this is a way to package and repair. And then if your home is especially in this level where there's a lot of other homes like yours and we just need that little extra edge, we can also do a home warranty, seller paid home warranty. These vary in cost as well. Think $500 to $600, and you're like, ugh, even more money. But it's not going to come out of your checking account. It's going to come out of the home sale proceeds. So if you're sitting on several $100,000 in equity, this $500 is no big deal. But it's putting together this whole package. And I've seen buyers go through this process like, well, but that person, they had a nice, clean, bright, ready to go home. I feel like I could move into it. I could see myself there. Oh, wow, that seller, like they inspected and repaired already. I don't have to spend $1,000 on inspections only to wonder if they'll make the repairs, Oh, that would feel really great. Oh, look at that. That's so nice. They gave me an allowance. Oh, they're going to pay for the home warranty. Like, why are we even looking anywhere else, right? This is packaging. And this is something I've brought over from really the industry of business and like online sales business that you don't see in home sales right now. And I'm hoping we'll go more to this. Like, my goal is to start a trend here, because when you can package an offer like this, package a home sale like this, this is removing the roadblocks for your buyers. And when you remove roadblocks, you open purse strings, and you want to open their purse strings wide, because we want you to maybe spend $4,000 or $5,000, sometimes more, right? If you have a big ticket item like a roof or a sewer line or something like that, to get your home ready, right? And we're going to get you 20, 30K plus more for it, plus the convenience and not having the heartache of being surprised while in contract. Okay, so this is the market profile. This is the packaging, right? This is this is that extra shine that you just don't see, and that I would say you really ask to put this together. Say, I want to do inspections first. I want to know in advance, right? Talk to your broker and say, man, like, I heard online that I need to get these repairs done in advance, and that just makes good sense. That makes good sense. I'd rather spend $500 figuring out I need to replace my roof than $20,000 down the road replacing the roof at a premium price when I could have got it done for $12, but I didn't know because I didn't plan. I didn't know in advance. All right, under contract is number 6. Or you've got your buyer, right? And they're handing you this bag of money saying, pick me, right? And you've hooked them. Right? Okay. Looks like a hook. That's how I'm going to draw a hook anyways. But this is your buyer with a big bag of money, and you've hooked them. They want to buy your place. Now, in Oregon, typical practice, again, is that they would now go spend $800 plus on inspections to figure out what you're not telling them or they just missed. And you've already done this though. So probably about 50-50. Sorry, had a kid interruption there. Okay, so 50-50 chance of whether they even bother with inspections or not, right? I've done this for several clients. I've done this for lots of clients. And about half the clients will choose, they're just like, it's not worth it. Like, you've paid the money. These are all professional reports. I feel good about the home. This feels great. Like, I'd rather save $1,000. Why verify what you've already done? And they don't even bother to inspect. You don't even have to go through repair negotiations because you've already made that in advance and they're happy with it. And this is really great. This makes the transaction so easy. And I can't tell you how many buyers agents have been like, Heather, this is the easiest real estate transaction I've ever been in. And the reason is because I'm like, well, that's because I've done all the hard stuff for you when it comes to repair negotiations, because we've planned out what it's going to be in advance. The other half like to verify, and they do inspections. Maybe they just send in a general inspector, or maybe they just pay someone. Sometimes they'll hire the same inspector you hired to just go in and re-verify that the repairs that you said you made actually did get done correctly. And that's really cheap for them to do. And that makes it a lot easier. Another piece of this, and then under contract, in addition to potentially just skipping repairs altogether, what happens at this package stage is you get to hold the line much better than you would otherwise into how many repairs you do. So that client who had the furnace that they did not want to get done, we had we had a buyer. They also had a situation where they didn't want to do the roof. And so we did a similar process with the roof as we did with the buyer. It was an older roof. It is still working. We did some smaller things like flashing around the chimney, cleaned up some moss, right? There was like some nails popped out, fixed it. Like we got it in its best working shape that it could be for being an older roof. And then what we did, we actually had a situation where a buyer came in, they offered full price, and the agent said, well, we're going to do an inspection and they want a roof. And I said, I want to be clear. There is no new roof at this price. There is no new roof. Not happening. We've talked about it with my buyers. This house would be more expensive if there was a new roof. We're not doing a new roof. They didn't listen. The buyers came back and said, I want a roof. And we said, we told you the whole time there was no roof. And they went away. And then the next buyers came and we said, we're not doing a roof. This would be a more expensive house if you wanted a new roof. And they said, we just want to get inspected, make sure it's still working. It's got a few years left. We said, great, still working, not a problem. And we sold it without the roof. So it helps you hold the line too. When you do have people that want to press for more, you get to be the decider there. Okay. And then we get our favorite part, which is the dollar bills, right? This is where you are, I feel like this really needs to be up high, right? Ah, big money, right? This is where you are getting to reap the benefits of all your hard work of preparing your home. You're going to be making that 10, 20, 30K extra. And I am not joking. This is not I am not overselling it. If you plan correctly, you get to make so much more money on your home, even in a market that's slower, where you're having to wait longer for that buyer. You know you're getting top dollar for your home. You're going to sleep great. So you said, I did everything I possibly could to get top dollar from my home. And if there's any other factors that influenced me getting less, it wasn't because of me. It was because of the environment. It was because the weather was bad. It was because whatever, COVID, whatever it is, right? So you've controlled all the factors you can control. You're ahead of the game and you're going to sleep great for that. You're not going to be back wondering all those years later, should I have listed higher? Should I have not said yes to those repairs? You're going to know and you're going to sleep great. So if you've loved this, please give it a like. Please subscribe. And if you want to hear more, listen to the playlist here.